to EVILREG painting tutorials. In this video I'd like to show you how to get this cool painted on effect using transfer sheets. So here I am. I'm going to show you how I put Imperial Fist's transfer on the Sergeant's backpack. So the first thing I'm doing, I look for the transfer that's going to look good and it's going to fit on the little circle that's already imprinted. So I think I'm going to go for this little fist thing, this little Imperial Fist insignia. I think the smaller one's going to look big, the bigger one's just a bit too big. So using a sharp knife, just cut a nice square around the decal that I want. Up, out it comes. So I'm going to be using a pair of tweezers, pair of nice tweezers there, with a point on's easy. Get hold of the corner of the transfer sheet, and this is where people sometimes make a mistake. You only really need to dunk the transfer in the water for maybe 5 to 8 seconds. You don't need to let it soak in for ages, otherwise you'll cause damage to the transfer. Just knock off the excess water and sit that down and just leave it a minute or two, let it soak up the water. I'm going to be using a product called Micro Set from Microscale Industries. This is fantastic stuff, as you'll see in this video. It's the stuff in the blue bottle. Just take a nice soft brush and paint it onto the area where you want your transfer to be. Put it on quite thick. The idea will be to almost submerge the decal in the solution. Again, using my tweezers. Unfortunately I managed to hide half of this process with my hand. I'm not used to working with a camera, but all I'm doing here is using the brush. I'm holding the transfer sheet and I'm using the brush to pull the actual transfer into position on the banner on the model. So while the solution's still wet, you can put a little bit more on the brush, and this will just help you move and position the transfer to where you want it on there. As long as it's moist. You can even add this solution to a transfer that's been on the model for a while, and given a couple of minutes to soak in, it will actually remove it. So once we've got that in position, we let that dry. Make sure you put the cap back on the bottle because this stuff does evaporate. So once you've left it for a few minutes, it'll go quite dry. Then the next thing we do is, before it's gone totally dry, we use a soft brush and a bit of paper towel, and we're just going to wipe the excess. We're going to wipe the excess microsol off the top of the model, while at the same time pushing any air bubbles out and flattening the transfer onto the model, helping it follow the contours of the piece. This is actually quite an easy bit to do because it is a flat piece. The red bottle that I showed you earlier, that helps get into creases and cracks. If you're doing a shoulder pad, cut your transfer out. With the shoulder pads been curved, the best thing to do is make an incision at 2 o'clock and at 4 o'clock. Just a few mils, just cut towards the centre of the transfer. That'll just help it get onto the shoulder pad without creating too many bubbles. Once the microsol's dried, we use this Lamian liquid just going to get our brush again and using the Lamian liquid, just dab it on. We're not painting it on, we're just dabbing it on quite thick. If you get this too thick, sometimes you get like a white powdery residue on top of the transfer, but if you again, once this is dry, if you wait until the miniature's dry, it just comes off with a brush. And here we are, all finished. Hope you liked the video. Please comment, rate and subscribe. Your feedback's appreciated. Take care all, Evil out.